Somebody put a message on earlier saying, do you think that the green, as it was running, it was in good nick on the day, running well? Do you think that helped you go?
Oh, without a doubt, it's my best going, Mel. I think is that Ben? Yeah, it's Ben. Yeah. I think Ben thinks I'm a vulture. He's right, actually. But no, I mean, interestingly, this year, we've had some decent weather over the last month, and it's when I've played my best bowls, actually. So I don't know. I don't mind sending him a bit normally, anyway. So.
Now we must mention, of course, it's your third time. You're now second only to the great Brian Duncan, who's won it 5 times. I mean, you got a couple of years left in you yet, I think, Gaz. Do you think you can get that far? Is it in the back of your mind? You're closing in on the great man's record?
Not really. I mean, I didn't think I'd win the Waterloo once, never mind 3 times. So, you go back next year, you do your best, you try and focus on it in the same way, and if things fall for you again, you might have a chance. But it just shows you, this year, there's no way I was the best player on that green, but I won, and that can happen for you. And another year, you might be playing better than everybody else, but a bit of luck or a few bad bowls in a certain game, and you're out. So we'll see. But I'm certainly not, thinking about, winning it as many times as Brian has. It'd be brilliant if I can win it again, and that's the next aim for me.
Can you make any comparisons between your 3 title wins, Gary? I mean, which stand out the most? Which gave you the most?
I think the first one's the one that gives you the most satisfaction, really. I thought the first one I played reasonably well all week. I did think last year that was the best I've played without a doubt, even though I was behind in a couple of games on the final day. I did feel I really earned it, and I really played well, and I just didn't do anything wrong really all week. And then this year was a different one. I was very lucky to go through on the Saturday. Played indifferently and just kept falling over the line, and that's how it continued. Through the week really. So this year was a strange feeling that although I've won and it sounds a bit silly, I wasn't quite as satisfied because I didn't think I'd played as well. But if you can win the Waterloo, it's always a good feeling. Always a good feeling.
Yeah. So. Colin Lane just put a comment on it. It's not just bowls that people start arriving late, and the same with just football, for instance. I mean, some of the United fans tend to leave about 10 minutes into injury time before the game's finished, don't they?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you're right. Yeah, when they're playing Liverpool. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I mean, I think that's right in football, but I'm not sure you see that in a lot of other sports. What about tennis? Sports like that. You don't see, match point at Wimbledon and half the crowd get up and start leaving, do you?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
No.
I don't know. There's probably nothing you can do about it, but like I said, it's just that was the only thing really that just put me off a bit. But luckily for me, it didn't cost me stuff.
No, Andy Cairns has put a note on. If it had been 20 each, none of them would have left, would they?
They wouldn't. No.
No, not true.
But not every game's going to be 20 apiece, is it?
No. I mean, the Waterloo sort of changed a little bit over recent years, isn't it? To all off scratch and less visits, and the format is a lot different to how it used to be. I mean, years ago you just played one game, didn't you? And at the time, I mean, how do you find the format now? Do you think it's any harder to win or easier to win?
Difficult to say. I mean, I would say off scratch. I feel that it's a touch easier to win just because it's not as much of a sprint. But I mean, I would say that because I often start bloody slow, so I prefer to see it at 31 up from my own personal point of view because that probably suit me better still actually. Yeah. But at 16 up, you literally can't afford any mistakes at all. I do think it's a touch easier to win at 21 up just because you can have a bad run in a game and get back, whereas at 16 up it's very difficult to do that.
Yeah, it is. Then of course we just mentioned the champions. You come back a week later after the Waterloo and you went out second round to Lee, who must have played excellent against you, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Up until I think I was 18. I think he had me 18-9, and certainly up until 18-9, he played very, very well. I sent a few bad balls, but I've not really done a lot wrong to be in that position. And then I got in the corners, and got back to 18 across, and I did feel he was just fading a bit, and then he got back in, and to be honest, I faded quicker than him because I played two pretty poor ends to finish the game. But he's been having a bad run, Lee. So he in a way, although I lost, I was glad to see that he came back to form a bit. I know he got thrashed in the final, but I don't think it had much to do to play Graham Wilson in the final the way he played. They wouldn't have scored many.
No, that's right.
So but pleased to see him come back to form.
It's strange, isn't it, how sort of history seems to show the Waterloo winner rarely comes back a few days later and wins the Champions. I think it's only ever happened perhaps twice, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think probably you're still sort of how can I put this? You're probably not quite as focused as perhaps you would be. That you've just won the biggest one. You're coming back for the second biggest one. Obviously, you want to win it, but perhaps you're not quite as focused, or you've not sobered up. One of the two, I don't know. Yeah. Probably a bit of both, Mel.
Yeah. There's just a question on the screen for you. Somebody's asking what sort of your head-to-head record like with Graham Wilson. Would you know that?
I think it's pretty even. I mean, I think over the last 2 or 3 years, I've beat him a few times, but I think he's beat me more than I've beat him. I don't really keep records on this, but through sort of 2004, 5 and 6, I think I had a pretty good record with him. Probably beat him, probably 66, 70, 75% of the times we've played, I think. So I would imagine it's pretty even.
I mean, it's fair to say he's had a tremendous season, Graham, hasn't he? Champions Day, he was excellent, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows, that as good as Graham's been over the last few seasons anyway, this year, he's changed his routine. He's working the Mike Holden shift 2 days a week, and then he's practicing the rest, and it's showing, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I think it's one of the things that I would like to and need to do more of, which is getting on the green and practicing and trying to get your game as sharp as it possibly can be. But it's shown this year. I mean, I think for the last couple of years he's done well. But this year he's probably won double what he's won in the past.
Yeah, that's right.
I think something like that. So I mean, you can't argue with that, can you?
I mean, it's been. I think he's won 14 titles now into this year.